Book of Isaiah, Isaiah 61, verse 7. Instead of your shame, you will have a double portion, and instead of humiliation, they will shout for joy over their portion. Therefore they will possess a double portion in their land. Everlasting joy will be theirs. This verse is one of the great promises of restoration in Scripture. God is speaking to people who had known loss, disgrace, captivity, disappointment, and sorrow. Israel had experienced seasons where they felt abandoned, broken, and publicly humiliated, yet the Lord declares that shame would not be their final story. He would replace disgrace with blessing, sorrow with joy, and loss with abundance. The phrase double portion is important. In biblical culture, a double portion was associated with inheritance, honor, and family blessing. It was not merely twice as much stuff. It symbolized being restored to rightful standing and receiving favor. God was saying, in effect, what was stolen from you will not only be restored, I will bless you beyond what you expected. That truth is deeply relevant today. Many people live under the weight of shame. Some feel ashamed because of past mistakes. Others carry shame from what was done to them. Some feel humiliated by divorce, rejection, addiction, failure, debt, family wounds, loneliness, or years they believe were wasted. Modern culture often labels people by their worst chapter, but God does not do that. He speaks restoration over those who turn to Him. Isaiah 61:7 reminds us that God specializes in reversal. Where the world says, "You're finished," God says, "I'm not done." Where life says, "You lost too much," God says, "I can restore more than you imagined." Where shame whispers, "Hide," God calls you into joy and inheritance. This does not mean every believer will become wealthy or never suffer again. The promise is deeper than material gain. It means God gives spiritual abundance, renewed dignity, peace, purpose, healing, and joy that circumstances cannot permanently steal. Sometimes the double portion is wisdom gained through pain, strength formed through trials, deeper compassion, stronger faith, and a testimony that helps others survive. Think of someone today who feels overlooked, embarrassed, or broken. Maybe they regret years of bad decisions. Maybe they were betrayed. Maybe they feel too old to start over or too damaged to be useful. This verse says God can turn the very area of shame into the place of testimony. The wound can become the witness. The loss can become the platform for grace. Notice also the ending. Everlasting joy will be theirs. Temporary happiness depends on circumstances. Everlasting joy comes from belonging to God. Jobs change, relationships shift, health can fail, economies rise and fall, but joy rooted in God remains. It is steady because its source is eternal. For today, the message is simple. Do not let yesterday's shame define tomorrow's identity. If you belong to the Lord, your failures are not final, your pain is not pointless, and your losses are not the end of the story. God can write a better ending than the one you fear. So if you feel humiliated, forgotten, or behind in life, remember Isaiah 61:7. God is still the one who exchanges shame for honor, emptiness for inheritance, and sorrow for joy. Heaven has never confused your current season with your final destination.